See if that works. Oh, you're seeing the show?
I see it.
Oh, yeah, look at that. So I hit apply. Now I hit OK. There you go. Now I'm picking it up. So
Sure.
you let me know if you hear me.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. So let's start the show. We're doing the best we can here. It was just a little technical difficulty. You know, the show is actually better when you can't hear me. Um, so it might be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just give it a second. But I think, yeah, it's definitely picking me up now. So I can see me and hopefully you can hear me now. Uh, let's see if people were texting me because I know everybody was probably like, I can't hear you. Oh, okay. Well, it was just Jim. So anyway, let's we're gonna do an audio test and see. And are we getting any audio in there?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So this is not bad. 6:35. So we're only it only took us 5 minutes to work out all the kinks. Let's start the show again. Hey, this is Funny Man Stevie K live from the Steve Square Show, and I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location once again. I started the show like this, and if for those of you who are lip readers, congratulations, you're going to hear this again. I am actually in Bayshore. So what had happened was my computer went kaplooey last week. My 25-year-old computer. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that old, but it's been through a lot, and it finally had its last gasp of microchip. They had to put it down, and it was really upsetting. So I called Apple support. They couldn't do anything. Nobody could resuscitate my computer. So what did I do? The streaming software that we use is this OBS software where you get to see the show. Unfortunately, it only is compatible with Mac, right? So all of the people I know and surrounded by use Chromebook, of course. I've tried to persuade them to be Mac people, but I couldn't have them drink the Kool-Aid. So they're all Chromebook people. And I understand Macs are very expensive. So I know because now I have to deal with this. Anyway, so luckily, my two buddies, my friends, who you know well, we've spoken to them before when we were talking about the dog show, the gyms. They have graciously granted me access. If not for the gyms and Astro, you people would miss, and I've never, knock on wood, missed the show yet. And I'm trying to keep that streak going, and they have done that for me. Anyway, so hopefully next week we'll be in the studio, so that won't be an issue. And we will have a guest. We're going to get Bob Spiato. He's that comedian I was telling you about. He does characters and such. So he's going to come dressed up as I don't know what. But he's going to be in one of his characters, and it should be pretty funny. Tony knows him, so it should be a good show. So what I was saying before I was so no, I'm just kidding. No, I was I was just lipping. Uh, we had my niece's birthday this past weekend, so we got together, celebrated that. I went to this store, the paper store, which used to be a Hallmark store, and it's run by a bunch of 20 somethings, you know, these Gen Z, millennial, bougie people wearing aprons. I don't know why they're wearing aprons. It's a card store. Nobody's cooking anything. They couldn't spill anything on themselves. So, but it's all part of that whole kind of look, right? So, and they're so friendly. As soon as I walk in the door, I'm accosted. What are you looking for? What can I do for you? I guess I'm from a different generation. I want to be left alone. I don't want help. Just leave me alone. So I finally found this beautiful bracelet that I get for my niece for her birthday. Gorgeous. Price is no object for my niece. For other people, it is an object. For her, it's none. So I get the bracelet, but look what I have. Let me show you. I'm giving them free advertising right now, so I'll bill them later. The paper store has, if you look at the back, I get this sent to me because I'm a frequent user of this crappy store. I get 25% off. So that's nice. So I'm very excited. I have my coupon in hand. I said, yes, I'd like to apply the coupon. And of course, she says that item is not included. So I didn't read the small print, which you couldn't either unless you had x ray vision or magnifying glass or binoculars. And I said to her, I'm sorry, I don't have my telescope with me. What does it say? And snottily, she says, well, it doesn't include, that's a brand item. So anyway, but again, my niece's price is no object. So I did it. I bought it. I got her a couple of other things. She's a teacher. And you know what I know I always bash teachers. They just came off another week off, President's Week. They had the whole week off. I always give them a hard time, my sister and niece. And I come from a family of teachers, so you know. But anyway, so her birthday was great. And then we got that going. And now I'm going to, hopefully this week is a big week. Not only am I getting a computer, hopefully a new one on Wednesday, but Thursday, I have a TV delivery. We're getting a new. Now that's the place to be. Computers are astronomically expensive. I got a $200 55-inch screen TV. It's crazy. TVs are like, I mean, it's not even a night out. You can go out for dinner and some drinks, and it's probably $200. You might as well just get yourself a 75-inch screen TV set up. So anyway, let's see what we got for you guys on the docket today. Steve is working tonight, so I'm going solo. You know, Steve, he's always working at the Bucks. Now, there's a lot of things going on, but let's get right to it. This was big news coming out of Yankee camp, out of Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, the long-standing facial grooming rule has been rescinded by Hal Steinbrenner. This numbnuts, there you go, about face. They did an about face. Meaning that for the first time, the New York Yankees, instead of worrying about who's going to catch the ball or hit the ball, they're worried about facial hair coming into the new season. I guess your focus is always changing. So their game plan now to win the World Series is letting their players grow out their beards. They said, you know, we understand times are changing, because that's had been the Yankees that separated them. And they used to give that line that players wouldn't come to the Yankees because they don't want to shave or be well groomed or anything like that. Now they can go ZZ Top and they're fine. So that is the big story out of Yankee camp. It says they adjust. Now this rule had been set in since 1976, since George Steinbrenner, owned the team. 49 years ago. It's been a rule for 49 years. Opening day is in 33 days. So that's plenty of time for these guys to really grow out some hideous looking beard. I'm not a beard guy, first of all. I couldn't grow one. I just don't have that capability. There's a lot of things in life I can do. Many I can't. Growing a beard is one of them. So Steve can grow a Grizzly Adams beard. Did you ever see Steve? You remember seeing Steve when it's too itchy. I just don't like it. I don't. Some people look good with beards. I agree, but not me. It's not working for me. So that's the big story out of camp. Now, here's another. This I'm pretty excited about. I don't know if I should be excited, but you know me, I don't like to get into heavy subjects. But front page news, IRS cuts hit Long Island workers. You know, everybody's losing their jobs and getting cuts and nobody knows what's going on. Workers getting canned left and right. Luckily for me, I'm not on that spectrum. Nobody's firing personal trainers who do under the table shady work. I'm off the grid. That's where you people need to work. You're on the grid is not working for you. You see what you did? You had a long job. You worked hard. What happened? Laid off. So these IRS workers on Long Island, wow. It's a lot of Long Island, 6,000 nationwide. Holtzville, where you get those letters and you're in trouble whenever you get that in the mail. You won't be getting those letters, believe me. I'm thinking that this means I don't even have to pay taxes this year. I'm not sure, but I'm going to investigate this. I'm thinking, since there's nobody working at the IRS, why am I sending in a tax return? I'll wait till I get some kind of threatening letter in the mail. I usually like to operate like that. I always wait for threats. No, I don't like to give them too much. I wait to be, this is your final. Do it now. You're in a lot of trouble. All right, then I'll do it. So, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Hey, Macy's in Massapequa, a long-standing, nostalgic institution that we all love. I've been to Macy's. I used to shop there as a youngster. It's closing its doors. There's a shock. I actually thought the store was closed 10 years ago, but apparently it's been open. Just nobody was in it or working there. But apparently it was. Oh, I love. See, now you know I'm in a really upscale location. I have the lovely chimes, which means it's 6:45. It dongs every 15 minutes, which is great because that gives me the 15-minute cue. So the Long Island Macy's, two others will be closing. This Massapequa location, which I have been to many times, 77 workers. That's, it's all joking aside. That's, I feel bad. Um, it's going to be closed April 11th. So maybe they'll be running, I'm sure, a lot of, clearance sales. Go to Macy's, Massapequa, give them a little business. The retail, not that they need it, the retailer announced in January would be closing 66 stores, including the Macy's in Massapequa. Wow. So that's a little bit, I don't know. It's a little, you lose those kind of, not that Macy's holds any nostalgia for me, but it was a place I would go to every holiday season. It was right close to my folks' home, Massapequa Park, so right down the road. I'll tell you what it does do, though. That used to jam up so much of Sunrise Highway, and you could clearly see you have that freedom now to drive since all the businesses are closed. There's nowhere to stop, so you might as well just keep driving through Sunrise Highway into Suffolk County. Um, that's, I was watching this show last night. It was really annoying. The Baldwins. I don't know. I didn't know he had a show, Alec Baldwin. So he's got this reality TV show on the Lifetime channel. And it's, if you want to watch, if you want to really be annoyed, if you're really angry, this will just set it off for you. It's him and his family, right? He's got these bratty kids. He's got about 12 kids and his wife. And it's called The Baldwins. So conveniently, he has started this reality show about a week before another trial. And he's, even though he was acquitted from the death of the director and on the cinematographer, I should say, on the set of Rust, he still has going to be paying off in civil suits and hundreds of millions of dollars, not hundreds of millions, but a lot of money. So he is, conveniently having this little show, and it says here are the 5 things that you'll learn. Why are the Baldwins doing this? And it says here, yeah, she was the cinematographer on the set of Rust. And to cover himself legally, he's set up to do 8 episodes. So he's hoping that this will fund some of his defense. This is unbelievable, and this is how much I'm in touch with people and how I understand things. I'm watching the show for 5 minutes in. He's with himself and his wife, and they're sitting on the couch talking. And once in a while, the kids run into the scene. They have these little bratty kids, and the wife is talking, and I can't make out if it's an accent or not, or what it is. She's talking kind of a cross between Salma Hayek and Eliza Doolittle from Mary Poppins. It's a little bit of a cross. I can't get it. It's this high-pitched accent that sounds phony, right? And this is what it sounds. But I'm like, you know what? That's just me being a jerk. But hold the phone, because I'm not that much of a jerk. I'm pretty much in touch. Because I read here, it says, it talks right here about the 5 things to know about the show, and it talks about Hillary's famed Spanish accent. So it actually was a topic that I keyed in on. It says, Baldwin's wife of 12 years was raised in Massachusetts. Are they speaking with a heavy Spanish accent in Massachusetts? And she was attacked online over the past few years, saying that she was using a fake Spanish accent to sound more exotic. Now, I've done that many a times. I've used many fake accents to sound more exotic. But I find the one that really secures the deal when I'm going on a date is nothing but a pure Long Island, a cross between Long Island and Brooklyn. That is the most sexiest accent you can have. Forget your European, your French, your Spanish. When you say, I'm gonna go Long Island, that's hot. So anyway, she has been trolled and attacked. Attacked! Good for her. It says, she addresses that here. She says, I love English and I love Spanish. And when I mix the two, it doesn't. She says it doesn't sound authentic. So she's trying to, save face here. Uh, but I knew. I see. I had a feeling that there was something weird, that it didn't sound right. Okay. Uh, and then they talk about his health issues, that he has PTSD from this incident. He has PTSD. He's the one that shot her. What is, Anyway, so he's dealing with that. So obviously, so the show is horrible. If you watch it, it's on the Learning Channel or the Lifetime Channel, whatever it is. It's just a terrible show. Not good. Not good at all. So many other things I'd rather watch. Which, speaking, I watched. Sometimes me and my mom like to watch these old movies, and this was a classic. If you get a chance, it was streaming on the History Channel. Um, Sergeant York, played by Gary Cooper. They're having, if you go to channel, if you have Optimum, and hey, big news, not to break in, but Optimum and MSG have settled. I don't know, this long-standing battle between two mogul pigs that have been destroying my season of the Knicks. I couldn't watch a Knick game. I'm sure you Ranger fans, Devil fans feel my pain. But they have finally, thanks to the threats of Governor Hochul, 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 thanks to Governor Hochul, who stepped in and said, hey, let's go, settle this. They have finally come to terms, and they have agreed to increase subscribers' rates by 3,000%. So good for them. I could have told them that this was going to happen anyway. They could have saved me a month of missing basketball games. They're only going to pass it on to you and me anyway. So, there's a scratch at the door. And who could that be? Oh, look who makes his way in. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could pick him up if I thought he wouldn't bite my hole in my neck. Astro is here. You can say he's okay. He's okay. Aw. Want to give Astro a little peek? There he is. Oh, boy, there he is. That's him. No, this is not Steve. Steve, this is Astro. He's my co-host today. What's up, buddy? Say hi. Hi. He is so cute. Astro. He's a very cute dog. He's the gym's dog, and he's always when we used to work out back in the day in the old house, Astro would join us and he would work out with us. Now, with the gym located in a different location, he's obviously not with us, but he's a lot of fun. A Basenji. I'm learning a lot about dog breeds. I've been watching the dog show. We all know the giant Schnauzer won, but I've been really listening to these dog shows. But again, if you so the MSG Optimum conflict is over. They settled this weekend. You can be free to watch what you want on MSG. I was at my last straw, to tell you the truth. So that is going to be that's all settled, and so I'm watching on. I forget what. Let me think. It was the history, not the History Channel, but it was, if you have Optimum, it was channel 97. Now hold on a minute. Look what I almost forgot. How can I do a show for you people and not be properly dressed? I almost forgot to put on dumbbells. We love to promote dumbbells as much as we can. So let's get a little love for dumbbells here. That's better. Not really, but hold on a second. There we go. How does that look? Better? So I'm watching Sergeant York. They're showing all Oscar movies. So if you have Optimum, it's channel 97, okay? So they were showing all Oscar movies, and I watched Sergeant York, starring Gary Cooper, great movie. And also I watched Born Yesterday. If you get a chance, watch Born Yesterday with Judy Holliday. She is hilarious, so funny, and it really makes you think that they had movies that were so much better. And these were movies in the early 40s, late 30s, like just incredible, talking about really great performers. Like Judy Holliday was such a great comedian actor. William Holden was in the movie as well. He just played the straight, quiet guy, nothing Really nothing too much, but he was funny a little bit. But it's called Born Yesterday. I recommend it, and definitely recommend Sergeant York. It's a true story based on the soldier Alvin York, who grew up in the backwoods of the Tennessee mountains, and during World War One, he was going to be a conscientious objector. He found religion, which most of us do when a war breaks out. I know I'll find a lot of religion if I get a draft letter in the mail. I'll pray to anything. I don't care. I'll pray to a pet rock if that'll get me out. I would not do well in a war, let me tell you. It won't end with a movie. There's not going to be some movie where I'm getting decorated with medals. So let me just say that right off the bat. But I think I'm aged out of that anyway. I don't know what age they do. And I've always said this anyway. With our high tech military, with one of the biggest, strongest militaries in the world, right? If they have to start drafting people, we're done anyway. I mean, could you imagine them if the military's not enough, the SEALs, all of the best, highly trained people are not enough. They need me and Steve. That's a problem. That's a huge problem right there. I don't think that's going to save the day. But watch those movies. Channel 97. I highly recommend it. Very good. What else do we got for you? So when we're having this blackout, which is what caused the debacle of my computer, because it power surged and it shot my computer. I was watching the guys work up on the poles. There was, it was very cold. And I think about the mailmen and the workers that work outside. Okay. A lot of people have, you got to give them a shout out. I think, and really, working in the cold is really, really difficult, really tough. And so, if you see a worker working outside, working on a pole, hey, run them out a cup of hot cocoa or a cup of tea, something hot. If they're on the, don't spill it on the hot wires that they're working on. I know you want to do a good deed, but you don't want to short circuit the whole town and plus the PSEG worker. But, make a nice gesture. Say, hey, would you like something, something like that. I'm trying to be a kinder person. It's very hard, but that's one of my goals in 2025. I'm trying to turn away from the anger. Steve always calls me the anger bitter. He says I'm a little bit of arsenic and lace, a little bitter, a little bit poison. He's one to talk. Actually, he might just call in because, let me put this on. Steve works till 7 tonight. Steve better look out because cuts are hitting everywhere. Macy's, IRS. I've heard Starbucks has just laid off about 1,000 workers. I know he doesn't want to hear this, but I mean, Starbucks could be next. The coffee industry. You streamline the coffee industry, then you're saving big bucks. I don't know how much those people make. But yeah, if you see a mailman, it's all right. Greet them with a little hot cup of coffee. I mean, look, we turn the clocks ahead in 2 weeks from yesterday. I feel that's early. I don't know if it's the earliest it's ever been, but on March 9th, we're actually turning the clocks ahead. So there's only 2 more weeks of this left. So you're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're almost there. I always say once you get to March 1st, that's the key. Because then, even if you get cold days, snowy days, you know there's hope. Hope springs eternal optimism. Speaking of which, I told you my niece had a birthday yesterday, right? The 23rd. Today's the 24th. My sister is tomorrow, the 25th, just in about 5 hours. So that's, I tell you, February hits me hard. I have to take out a home equity loan. I have 4 birthdays and Valentine's Day. It's just a heavy hitter month for me. But I get everybody back because my birthday's in March. So, and believe me, I'm not, we'll see. We'll see. This I found really interesting. Tell me if you find this interesting. So we all know the great Anthony Perkins, who starred in Psycho. You remember the movie Psycho, where Norman Bates dresses up like his mother and he hacks up Janet Leigh taking a shower. This is why you should never take a shower in a motel. I'm always an advocate of that. Shower before you get to the hotel, especially a motel. something like that. Hey, there we go, 7 o'clock. The chimes are ringing. I like this. I think I want to get one of those old fashioned clocks that dong, ding, whatever. But anyway, so Anthony Perkins, fabulous job as the psycho Norman Bates, right? One of my favorite movies, Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde, right? You guys all have seen with Reese Witherspoon. She goes to law school. She's a blonde bimbo, but obviously turns out Jennifer Coolidge is in the movie, yada, yada, yada. So I'm reading here that this filmmaker, Osgood Perkins, um who is just came out with a movie called Longlegs, and it's getting a lot of buzz. It stars Malika Monroe, and I'm looking at him, and his face looks kind of familiar. And I read on, and this is the son of Anthony Perkins. And not only that, but he played a role in Legally Blonde. He was, remember David, the kind of goofy, nerdy guy that was in law school with Reese Witherspoon? That was Anthony Perkins' son. He is now a director, looks way much better than he did in that movie. And so he's got a movie coming out now called Longlegs, which I'm going to check out now because I'm interested to see this. This is pretty good. Yes, it says here he portrayed Dorky David in Legally Blonde. And his mother, Berry Berenser, was also an actor. So he comes from an acting family. That's why I always say, you got to come from an acting family. You got to have some kind of like George Clooney. His mother is Rosemary Clooney, Jennifer Aniston, all these people. Not all of them, but some of them, and that gets you a foot in the door. I don't care what anybody says. That's the key right there. So that's a movie you might want to check out. And there's a lot of other things. Oh, Tom Hanks is hosting. This looks really interesting. It's called The Americas, and it's going to be on NBC, Bravo. Wow, it's going to be on everything. USA. It's an 8-part series, and it's these amazing landscapes and looks into different parts of America. And Tom Hanks is going to narrate it. We all love Tom. I don't think he'll use the Woody voice, but he'll be narrating it. And it's a 10-part episode, and it's all the wildlife actually in North and South America. So it should be pretty good. I'm definitely going to watch that. And there was another. Oh, and that was the other movie. After they also were streaming that. After Sergeant York, The Odd Couple, the original Odd Couple with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau was streaming. And that was, I don't know if you remember, that was in 1968, excuse me. That's where it all started, The Odd Couple. Quick trivia fact. The Pigeon Sisters, who were the two girls that Oscar and Felix dated, had a double date with, they used those two for the TV series, the same Pigeon Sisters. So they were really good. And now I was having a debate with my mom, and she was saying, oh, nobody does Felix like Jack Lemmon. I said, I don't know. I know Jack Lemmon's a great actor, but Tony Randall portrayal of Felix, I don't know. To me, that's classic. And I think that's not I'd like to I like to see Steve's take on this. He'll take any side that I'm not on. He loves to be obstinate to me. He likes to give me a little, which is good. That's what the show shouldn't be just about two people agreeing, right? But I know Steve, and he will. Hey, you remember that show, The Coach, with Craig T. Nelson? You remember that actor, Craig T. Nelson? He's 80 years old, and he's starring in another show. This is unbelievable. It's a movie exactly called Green and Gold, where he plays this dairy farmer in the Midwest in Wisconsin. Pretty unbelievable. It's coming out right now. 80 years old. I love these actors, singers that are just still doing work. That was a great show. But he was even great in what was he in Poltergeist? You remember Poltergeist, right? So he was really good in that. But he's a good actor. He could do comedy and serious, So he was actually in one of Tom Cruise's first movies. the football movie. He always plays the coach. He portrays a real good coach. So he was always the go-to coach guy in the 80s. Uh, and the Oscars are going to be coming up soon. I think that's in another Sunday or something. There's a lot of movies, not all of which I have not seen. I haven't seen one of these movies. A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan story's up for an Oscar. Wicked, of course. Dune, The Apprentice, the movie they made about The Apprentice. I've seen any Conclave, Honora. Have you seen any of these? You used to know the movies and the actors. I mean, I guess if you're not 19, 18, 16, you don't know any of these people. But of course, we know Wicked is Ariana Grande. But other than that, I mean, A Complete Unknown is Timothy Chalamet. I'm not a big fan of his. I don't like him in Wonka. He was in the third Willy Wonka movie. Terrible. He doesn't get. I hope he doesn't win. Nosferatu, the Dracula movie, is another dud. The Substance with Demi Moore. I hope Demi Moore wins, or is it Demi Moore? I hope she wins. I kind of like her. I don't know why. I usually don't like people, but I like her. So that's the Oscars are coming. I don't know when they are. Let's see. I want to tell you. Oh boy, the Oscars will be March 2nd. So that's next Sunday night. Big news. The Steve Squared Show has been nominated for nilch, nada, nothing. I never get love from any of the award shows. The Steve Squared Show. You would think so. Look at the efforts to which I have put the show on tonight. I bothered people. I've gone to the Jim's house. I've bothered their dog. I've caused chaos in 3 lives, and yet nobody appreciates it, which is okay. You do. You loyal listeners, the squares out there appreciate it, and that's all you can ask for. Let me see what we got going on here. So part of what I was trying to do, I know the library is in the new business of loaning things to people, right? They've loaned. Here it is. I have the list right here. They loan lots of different things to people now. So you could borrow a telescope from the library. You could borrow streaming sticks, Chromebooks. So I was thinking, naivete of me, if they are loaning Chromebooks, maybe they have a MacBook. But no, they're not gonna. You can't borrow. They have just some Chromebooks that you could borrow, and they have record players, vinyl record players you could borrow, GoPros, lawn signs, Blu-ray players, Wi-Fi hotspots, digital switches, Nintendo switches, everything. I mean, Lego kits, everything but what I needed. So, what good is the library? But anyway, my sister's working there tonight, so I'll have to let her hear about that. That maybe they should start adding to that list of things you could borrow. I know you could get museum passes. I've done that before, where if you want to go to a museum, you can get any museum you want at the local library. Ask for your museum pass, and I believe you get 2 or something like that. Very good. Very cultured. Hey, into some teen comedy? I know you are. So, let's see what we got here. I always tell you when the next teen comedy class is coming up. In case any teens are out there want to do some comedy. Let's see what we got. It says here, a trio of comedians will help turn your jokes into a hilarious stand-up act. This is. Oh my God! This is going to be at Central Avenue Library. I got to see how this class is. We should do. When is this? It's going to start March 6th, and it runs for 5 straight episodes. March 6th, March 13th, the 20th, 27th, and April 3rd, right after Fool's Day. From 6 to 8 p.m. So it's a 5-week class. You get to learn the elements of stand-up comedy. Now, I've given you my take on this. You can't learn to be funny. You just have it or you don't. I just don't think you can learn. That's like taking a 5-week class on personality. I mean, maybe you can, but I have. So, It says there will be a special comedy show at the end for your friends and family. That is fantastic. It's for teens in grades 6 through 12. Um, which is, I feel like that's kind of a wide spectrum, right? Grades 6 through 12. Because when you're in sixth grade, you're like 12 years old, maybe 13. But when you're in 12th grade, you're almost 20 years old. So you're going to have a stand up comic that's 20 or 19, 18, whatever, and someone that's 12, 13 years old. It's going to definitely be different material. Um, but I'd like to, somewhat, I have some inns over at the library, and this is at Central Avenue. I have people I know there. And I'd like to see this. I'm definitely going to come see this show. I want to see this show. I think it's going to be really good. I guess there are teachable things if you have a comedic talent like tempo, pace, walking. How are you? Someone that's a physical comic, or are you someone that just stands? Jerry Seinfeld is a non-physical. He's an example of a non-physical comic. He just stands at the mic and turns a little bit like this. Did you ever notice? Did you ever notice? He just kind of goes back and forth. Sebastian Maniscalco, on the other hand, he uses a lot of physicality and body mechanics and body movement. So you got to decide, what do you want to do? Do you someone that wants to use your body and facial and things like that? Are you an impersonator? They say things are out of date, but Jeff Dunham is a ventriloquist, and it works for him. He's been doing it for so many years. He has sells out Madison Square Garden, and he makes him. He's on Comedy Central. He makes his own puppets, so he is great. You should definitely, if you get a chance, YouTube Jeff Dunham, because and I like his influence because in America's Got Talent, you see a lot of kids now doing ventriloquist acts that are amazing. This one girl sings through the puppet. It's incredible. So I'm glad they're doing that. Speaking of acts, there's a Long Island magician. You remember the Carbonero effect? Remember the magician, Long Island? So he's coming to the Paramount in Huntington. I'd like to see this guy. You know what I might do? I could actually bring this guy on. I could reach out to him and see if he'd come on the podcast show, do a little magic. Maybe make Steve disappear. Steve will get very angry. I don't want to disappear. But, you never know. This could be really fun. I'm going to reach out to this guy. I get in touch with people. I've had many guests on before. I'm going to reach out to him. It says he will be, let's see when he's actually from Oakdale. He does a lot of these sleight of hands. He's a magician. You've seen him on these Lifetime channels or different channels. Wow, he used to get his supplies at the former magic shop. It's not there anymore. That's another nostalgic shop that closed. There used to be this great magic shop in Levittown, but apparently the landlord made it disappear. But what you do is, how you do that? You evict the tenants. So that is, wow, he began doing comedy at the age of 13, and he would charge $35 to do kids' parties. That's really cool, really neat. He attended Connecticut High School. Say that fast. And but definitely, he's going to be at the Paramount. I would definitely recommend seeing him. I'm trying to see where he was, when he's going to be at the Paramount. Here it is. Saturday. He'll be at the Paramount this Saturday. So definitely, if you get a chance, go see Michael Carbonero and Tara. I don't know if Tara Malone will be with him. I think it's just him at the Paramount. Wow, the tickets are not cheap. $66 to $120. It's not cheap to go see. We're not talking about A-list celebrity here. Long Island was supposed to have the Paramount, and it was supposed to have the Engelman Theater and the Argyle Theater to bring high-level entertainment at Long Island prices, not Broadway city prices. Well, that's gone out the window because the Argyle and the Engelman theaters, they're charging just as much as you would. You can go to TKS in the city, get discount tickets to go see any show, where they're not doing that on Long Island. So I don't know what's going on there. But he, you know what he does, which is fun. He does a lot of participation on stage. He brings people up and things like that. You know what I really, really would like to see him do? I said I'd like to have him come on the show and make Steve disappear. Better than that, I'd like him to come on the show and saw Steve in half. If he could do something like that, maybe I'll bring in a chainsaw. I don't know if Steve would be up for that, but I'm saying right in half. And then we'll put them back together on the next show. We'll leave them apart for a whole week and put them back together on Monday like Humpty Dumpty. Um, I don't know. I just don't know. The clock, for whom the bell tolls, it just rang 7:15. I love every 15 minutes getting that. I need that more. I like to know every 15 minutes what's when 15 minutes are up. The size of that clock is what Tracy Morgan was wearing at the Knick game the other night. Exactly that size. It was swinging back and forth. Dong, dong. Were you making fun of my clock? 25% off, and they told me, take a hike. The paper store. I am boycotting the paper store just after Wednesday because I might have to go there for one more birthday gift. But after that, no more. They're done. So if my family is watching, do not buy me a birthday gift from the paper store. They probably wouldn't anyway. It's really just, it's more jewelry, bracelets. It's not so much, something that I would really, not in my wheelhouse. Although they do have, I did get my nephew a wonderful Yankee frame there. So they have some things. They have, it's a very happy store, like I said. Anyway, there's 3 new yoga studios opened up on Long Island. And I wanted you to stay with me on this point, okay? So you see here, it says, well, 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 okay? It says 3 new wellness studios, yoga studios, have opened up where you can relax, recharge your batteries. So let's see where these 3 yoga studios have opened up. And then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay. The Stretch Garden. It's a great name. The Stretch Garden. Does that sound nice? Right off the bat, I feel relaxed. It's in Aberquag. I don't know where that is. That sounds very out east. Sounds like you'd have to take a nice little boat there. Sounds like it's an inlet, or maybe a hamlet. Something very secluded for the rich and richer. Okay, but if, let's say that's not in your wheelhouse because you don't have 7 hours to drive out to the east end of Long Island. Okay. Mattituck has the Practicing Mindfulness Studio. That's in Mattituck. Also, very far out east. And the third yoga studio that has opened up is in West Hampton Beach. Also not too far, right? It's a nice little jaunt out east. That's called the Vinyasa Flow at Yoga Collective. Vinyasa is a certain type of yoga. It's a very fluid, meditative approach to yoga. Wonderful. Love the Vinyasa. So if you notice, these 3 places are in areas where none of these people need to do yoga to relax. What stress? If you're living in Aberquag or Mattituck or West Hampton, your life you're doing pretty well. There is nothing you need to relax and recharge. Where you should put them, I'll tell you where you need to put them. In the heart of Hempstead, maybe Newcastle, right? 5 towns. There's a lot of trouble going on over there, a lot of crime. You gotta put these studios in the areas where people are stressed. And maybe they think, right? You put it in a high crime town, something, right? You go to West Hempstead. Oh, just west of Hofstra. It's like an army over there. It's like a war zone over there, right on Fulton Avenue, right? In between the Popeyes and all you can eat chicken and wing house, you put a yoga studio. Beautiful. People would enjoy that. I'm telling you, you'd have less crime. You'd have more relaxed people. Why are you putting it in Aberquag? Nobody's upset in Aberquag. Other than writing and telling people that you're from Aberquag, there's no problem in your life. So, I don't know. That's what I would do. Uh, that's a great picture. The boys. Here, let me show you guys. I'll show you. The boys just sent a little in time picture of Astro. You see that? There you go. Astro, the Wonder Dog, and myself. Astro's the one on the right or your left. And that was at 6:52, so we have the exact time. That was great. That's a great picture. I'm glad they screenshotted that. So that's very cute. Very, very cute. Uh, Perfect. And then, and there's a couple of other stores that I wanted to mention. I'm a big retro guy. Um, so there's a new store that just opened up. I wanted to. Hey, let me just tell you quick. Uh, the store I wanted to. So I there's a store. These are great names for these stores, but let's give you. Okay, is a nice store called Island Thrift, but it's a retro store. So if you're looking to, they go by decade, which is really cool. So if you want 70s gear, 80s gear, 90s punk, hip hop looking, the baggy pants, the parachute pants, Vanilla Ice style, MC Hammer, whatever you want, Madonna clothes, John Travolta stuff from the polyester suits, whatever your thing is. Because like you, I live in the past. Let's face it, all the best times were in the past. You got nothing going forward. So you might as well live in the past. You know how they say, don't forget the past, think ahead. I like to live in the past. So, you got multiple locations. Huntington, uh, there's one in Wantor called Dynamite. I love it. JJ, Dynamite. So you can go into these stores. I'm gonna check this out right in Wantor. How come I have never seen it? Where is this store? It's on Wantor Avenue, right in Wantor. I'm gonna have to take a peek at this. Maybe I'll buy a few things and wear it on next Monday's show. That's what I'm going to do. I want to give you guys a little bit of a look. Oh, I'm gonna go retro. I'm gonna look like this girl right on the front. You see her? Woo! She looks good. She looks like she's having fun in clothes. You should always enjoy your clothes and have fun. Um, I need to do that more. There was speaking of Tom Hanks, I had a little trivia thing here for you. Play a little quick trivia. I got two little things for you. Let me see if I got pull this up for you real quick. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So I was doing a little. We were talking little '80s, right? So I wanted to. I picked 1989, but these were the top musical hits coming into 1989. I want to see how good you guys are. This is the top of the pop chart hits of 1989. Okay, coming into 1990, but we're still in the '80s. Let's see what we got. Oh wow! Number one, "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" by Poison. Remember that song? That wow, that was that number one for 3 weeks. That crappy song. Uh, My Prerogative was number two by Bobby Brown. Two Hearts. Remember Two Hearts with Phil Collins? That was number three. Anita Baker, Giving You the Best I Got. And In Your Room. In Your Room. Wow. By the Bangles was wow, they were number four. Good. Number five, excuse me. Taylor Dane. I'm trying to think if Def Leppard, Michael Jackson had one. And Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Remember Put a Little Love in Your Heart by Annie Lennox and Al Green? That was from the movie from Ghostbusters. That was a big one. Bon Jovi, Born to Be My Baby, was number 10. White Lion, When the Children's Cry, was number 11. And When I'm With You by Sheriff. Interesting, right? So those were the songs back in '89 that were like the hot songs of the time. I don't even know many of them. So this was this was funny. I wanted to. I thought my sister and my niece would get a kick out of this if they're watching. So I'm looking around and it says here are 10 reasons to marry a teacher. So there's plenty of professions where you would marry somebody. Here are the 10 reasons to marry a teacher. This is my David Letterman top 10 reasons to marry a teacher. We're going to go, we're going to do number 10 first. A lot of this is not funny, but this is according to, because this is a homage to teachers. It says, above all, they are selfless, have a huge heart, and love deeply. They obviously didn't have the teachers I had growing up. They don't need frequent bathroom breaks on long trips. That's true. They know how to hold the whole day in. I could never be a teacher for that reason. I go to the bathroom every other minute. They'll never complain about your cooking because they're starving from not eating lunch. I don't understand that. Well, I guess they're saying, why are they starving from not eating lunch? Because they're too busy. They're always in the break room, the whatever, the faculty room, right? It says here they have patience, lots and lots of patience. I would call them students, but I think they're referring to patients in the sense of they're not patients at a hospital or calling students patients, but patients in a sense of their demeanor. Now, again, I never had any teacher that had patience, especially not with me. They can multitask, which could be good. Wink, wink. You can't gross them out. I don't know what that means. Of course you can. You'll never be bored. Not only do they entertain kids all day, but they'll have some great daily stories. Have you ever listened to a teacher talk about their day and have completely zoned out? So I know lots of teachers. And when they get started on a story about a parent and a child and the principals and the superintendent, and you're looking completely, right, that gaze look. That's when my acting skills come in. You got to I use those acting 101 skills. But really what I'm thinking is, I have to pee. When is my break moment that I can bust for the bathroom? They have a teacher voice and they know how to use it. Number 3. Uh-oh. Okay. Anyway. So we're into, we got 7:26. We got 2 minutes left. Number 2, they know how to find a bargain. That is true. Teachers are very bargain hunters. They're always getting things for their kids and things like that. And the number 1 reason to marry a teacher. What is the number 1 reason to marry a teacher? You'll be called honey and sweetie a lot because it is part of their regular vocabulary. That is the top 10 reasons to marry a teacher. There's other reasons. They use a ruler, smack you with a ruler. That was old times, right? They'll make you clamp erasers together. There's many reasons to marry a teacher. They're very litigious. They'll definitely sue you if you cross them the wrong way. And you don't want to be late for dinner. They'll really reprimand you. You're going to be scolded all the time. Teachers are very schedule oriented and very, they have that tight ponytail. I think that's a common trait in teachers, female teachers. I don't know about male teachers. Male teachers probably too, but the female teachers that I know, they have very, very tight ponytails. They're really pull their head back, which probably angers them. So they should be seeking wellness yoga classes in between their week-long breaks that they get from teaching. And hey, if you're a teacher, only a couple of months away because summer vacation will start. Didn't it seem like they just went back to school? And now we're coming into March. Then it'll be Easter break. Then it'll be Memorial Day. And then, boom, you're already doing report cards and you're thinking about the next year. I think in a teacher's life, it goes quicker because they're dealing in segments of time, right? For many people, their year is one long, droning. It's not a cycle of seasons. It doesn't matter every day. Maybe you get your 2-week vacation in your calendar year. But for a teacher, there's lots of vacations and breaks and things that break up the monotony. And then you have the summer and then this and that. So what is my, my advice? become a teacher. Well, marry a teacher. I think they have pretty good benefits too. And if you look, Long Island is some of the highest paid teachers. They're doing pretty well on Long Island as compared to the rest of the country. You can thank Newsday for posting that. Newsday's always attacking. They're not teacher friendly yet. I'm shocked because they're everything else friendly. But anyway, we're gonna get ready to close up shop. It's coming on 7:30. The hour went by fast. You just heard the donging. So another good show. Thank you for joining. I felt bad that Steve didn't jump in, but what are you gonna do? I mean, we do the best we can, right? So what was my advice to close out the show? Check out the Baldwins, that show, and just let me know how much you hate it. Go to Stephen R. Kaminsky. That's my Instagram, Stephen R. Kaminsky. Hit me up. Let me know. Tell me what you think of that crappy show. Your homework is to watch one classic movie. Anything from the 40s, 50s, something like that. 60s, 30s, whatever. I'm going to test you next Monday. And we might have a guest next Monday, possibly Bob Spiato. I'm going to try to confirm with Tony and Bob and see if we can get that going. If we do, I'll post that all during the week and let you know once again, for myself, for the gyms, for Astro, for everyone who jumped in and made this show possible. My many thanks to the boys and Astro for helping me out and get this show and keeping the streak alive. We will see you. Have a wonderful week. Once again, big birthday shout outs to my niece yesterday, my sister tomorrow, and we'll see you all next Monday on the Steve Squared Show, 6:30.